Hey, what's up? Have you ever dreamed about having something and finally you managed to get it? Well, today it happened. I was scrolling through Marketplace and I saw this bike that a guy was selling for like really cheap. I'm like, oh my, this is awesome. It's a bike that I've been dreaming of having like when I was a teenager. The only way I could see one was to go to a bike shop. And if I was not riding my bike and I was not running around or rock climbing, I don't know what I was doing when I was a teenager, but if I was not doing one of these things, I was in a bike shop looking at bikes, because back then, that was before internet. The only way you could look at stuff was mountain bike magazines and road cycling magazines and VHS cassettes, or you go to the bike shop. But you're a kid, you can't afford them. So I went to purchase this bike. I went to see the guy. He was like an old dude. I think he knew what he had, but I don't think he knew the value of it. The other thing that's amazing is that this bike was purchased in the exact same shop that I was going to when I was a teenager, looking at them. Maybe I've seen this bike hanging on the wall or from the ceiling. You know, maybe I've seen this bike in that same bike shop when I was a teenager, and now it's there. It's crazy. I'm excited about this. Let's take a look at it. So there you go, in all its glory, a Cannondale F800 with a Headshok. I've been wanting a bike with a Headshok for a while, and there it is. Crazy. So let's take a look at it. CAD 3 aluminum design, Cannondale, handmade in the USA. The Headshok works, I'll show you that in a second. It's a bit rough. I suspect this bike was used to commute and it was locked. There was actually a lock hanging from the handlebars, I think, when I went to see it. So obviously the saddle is not the original one. I think the crankset has been changed as well, but yeah, we'll see. Here's the shop, ABC Sport. Yeah, that's it, ABC Sport in Montreal. So that shop was around for a long time. And when I was a kid, I used to go there and look at all those crazy bikes from all the brands they had, like Cannondale and Rocky Mountain and many other brands. So I'm not really sure what year it is. I'm guessing early 2000s. It's got the original bar ends. It's got the original grips. I'm thinking the brake levers are original. Not sure about the shifters. Let's take a look at the tires. Headshok fatty. Okay, I'll show you the Headshok working, and then we'll head back in the studio and see how much of this bike is still original, and then maybe I'll try to decide what I'm gonna do with it. So Headshok demonstration. Look at that. And there's a lockout on the top, and now it's locked. I love it. Back inside, and we're gonna check if the bike I bought is still built with the original components. I went online and found the Cannondale year 2000 and saw the F800 I just bought. Look at that, it's the exact match. So right off the bat I can tell that the crank that's on my bike is not the original one. It came with a Koda crankset, and the saddle of course is not the same. And I also noticed that the bike came with IRC tires, and the bike I have has Schwalbe tires on it. So those have been changed, but beside that, everything seems original on my bike. So let's take a look at the specs just a little bit. Mavic X221 rims, that's what's on the bike. Koda hubs, that's what's on the bike. So IRC nozzles, foldable, those were changed. Koda clippers, well, I'm missing the original pedal. Koda crank, so that's been changed for a LX crankset. Shimano cassette 1132 LX, I haven't checked, it's super dirty. Bottom bracket, I don't know. Front derailleur, rear derailleur, shifters, everything's original. Handlebar, Koda Experts with bar ends, original. Koda Headshok, yes. Original brakes, original brake levers. Saddle, it's been changed. Seat post, it's the original seat post. Cool, so now we know that the bike is almost in its original condition, but from there, what should I do? I've always wanted one, but I'm not really sure I'm gonna ride this bike. Like, it's not really suiting any of my needs. I'm not really into mountain biking because I live in the city, and I'm not sure this would be the perfect bike to mountain bike anyway, because it's got V-brakes. It's old technology, but it's super cool. I'm kind of wondering, what should I be doing with this bike? I could try to find the parts and bring it to its original condition, like finding a Coda crankset, finding some IRC tires, and trying to find a saddle, but it's not really like interesting. What would I do with this bike in its original condition? I mean, I'm not a collector, so I was more thinking about doing a neo-retro build, something cool like with a 1x transmission, a nice surly handlebar, cool grips, nice tires, and that would be a super cool kind of mountain bike, commuter, gravel, party bike to mess around with. So I'm gonna take a little while to think about it and see what kind of ideas I can get to build this bike and make something out of it that I could use. Because right now I'm not really enjoying the ride of the bike, the feel, the way it handles, it's kind of weird. So I really need to build it in a way that I enjoy riding it and in a way that also looks really good. So that's it for today. Please let me know in the comment section what you think about this bike and how you would build it. Maybe I'll get some inspiration by reading your comments. See you soon!